It's about 2 p.m. on Monday, July 14th. So we've gotten a couple of decisions today and a few days ago from the emergency docket by the Supreme Court. The decision that came out last week had to do with a case out here in San Francisco where a trial court judge had put a temporary injunction in place to prevent mass firings at certain federal agencies by the Trump administration. A temporary injunction in that case simply means we're going to keep things as they are right now. You're not allowed to fire everybody because that is harm to those people. But so we're going to keep this in place. You still get to litigate the question up the chain as to whether or not you're permitted to do this. But for now, we're going to keep things as they are. The Supreme Court overruled that temporary injunction. That decision came with a scathing dissent from Justice Ketanji Brown-Jackson. Then a similar decision from the Supreme Court today about Trump's plan to dismantle the Department of Education. The trial court judge had put the same kind of temporary injunction in place, saying, no, we need to look further into these issues. And so while this case is pending in the courts, you can't fire everybody yet. The Supreme Court overturned that temporary injunction today. There are a few things. This decision came with a scathing dissent from, I believe it was from Justice Sotomayor. Basically, and one of the things that she said in her dissent, I may talk about this later, but she's like, you can't, because the Department of Education has certain legally mandated things that it does. They're mandated by law. And she's like, this administration is circumventing the law by firing everybody in these departments who is supposed to enforce those laws. And it's sidestepping the authority of Congress. It's all kinds of problems with it. It's illegal. And in the first case that I just talked about, what the Trump administration was also trying to do was illegal. There are ways to reduce the force, reduce the number of employees in federal agencies. There's a law that dictates how you do that. And in both of these cases, the Supreme Court has not just endorsed the Trump administration acting in violation of the law in two separate cases, but these trial court judges, they do the work, They have hearings, they take evidence, they listen to testimony, and they issue decisions, they write opinions. And I think one of the most disturbing things about this current trend that we're seeing with this current Supreme Court is this Supreme Court is telling federal trial court level judges, district court judges, the work you're doing doesn't mean shit. The work you're doing means absolutely nothing. We're just going to completely disregard it and throw it out because we're going to enable this president to do whatever he wants to do. And it's egregious. It is absolutely egregious. The federal trial court, the district courts, and the appellate courts, the circuit courts, those courts are doing their jobs the way they're supposed to. And the 6 conservatives on the United States Supreme Court, 6 people, are ignoring how the judicial branch is supposed to function in this country. They're just like, fuck you, I don't care what you guys did, we're throwing this out. And they're issuing these opinions on the emergency docket. So these decisions are basically a paragraph, throwing out, in some cases, an opinion from a federal trial court that was 40, 50, 60 pages long. And the trial judge in the San Francisco case, Judge Susan Ilston, I've had cases in front of her. I've worked with her over the years. And she is, I think, uniquely suited for that position as a federal judge. She's incredibly smart, thoughtful, deliberate. She takes her job very, very seriously. She's very pragmatic. And she does the things that a federal judge is supposed to do in the way that they're supposed to do them. And this Supreme Court was just like, screw you, we don't give a shit. We're just throwing this out. And they did the same thing today in the Department of Education case. I mean, the fucking Supreme Court has declared war on federal trial courts. It's insane. It's insane, and it's incredibly disheartening and dangerous.